Welcome to Saga, History and Mythology. Today we're looking at 10 of the most asked questions about Greek mythology. Who were the 12 Olympian gods? In the pantheon of Greek mythology, 12 gods stood at the summit of Mount Olympus, ruling over all aspects of existence. Zeus, the king of the gods, wielded his thunderbolt to command the sky. His brother, Poseidon, ruled the seas. Hera, Zeus's wife, was the goddess of marriage, while Demeter governed agriculture and the harvest. Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war, stood alongside Ares, the embodiment of bloodlust and battle. Apollo, god of the sun and arts, had his twin sister, Artemis, the huntress. Hermes, the swift messenger, carried the words of the gods, while Hephaestus, the god of fire and craftsmanship, forged divine weapons. Aphrodite, the goddess of love, and Dionysus, the god of wine and revelry, completed the 12. Their myths shaped Greek culture, defining everything from justice to war and pleasure. Why did the Greeks believe in mythology? To the ancient Greeks, mythology was not just storytelling, it was an explanation for the mysteries of the world. These tales provided meaning to the natural forces they could not control and served as a moral compass for society. Thunderstorms were Zeus's fury, the seasons were tied to Demeter's sorrow, and the sea's wrath reflected Poseidon's temper. Myths also upheld cultural values. Heroes exemplified courage, hubris led to downfall, and the gods rewarded piety. More than belief, Greek mythology was a way of life, influencing art, politics, and even how people worshipped at temples and oracles. Over centuries, these stories became a cornerstone of Western civilization. Did the Greeks actually believe in their gods? The answer is complex. For most Greeks, the gods were very real, and their influence was seen in everyday life. Temples were built, sacrifices were made, and oracles were consulted to seek divine will. However, belief varied. Some, like philosophers Socrates and Plato, questioned the literal existence of gods, favoring reason over myth. Others practiced rituals but saw the myths as symbolic rather than factual. By the time of the Hellenistic and Roman periods, belief had evolved into a mix of tradition, political tool, and cultural identity rather than pure faith. What's the difference between Greek gods and Titans? Before the Olympian gods, the world was ruled by the Titans, ancient primordial beings born from Uranus, the sky, and Gaia, the earth. The Titans were mighty but often monstrous, embodying raw, untamed power. Cronus, their leader, overthrew Uranus, but feared a similar fate at the hands of his children. To prevent this, he devoured them at birth. But Zeus, hidden by his mother, grew strong and led a rebellion, the Titanomachy. After a brutal war, Zeus and his siblings emerged victorious, casting the Titans to Tartarus. This marked the rise of the Olympians, who brought order to the cosmos, shaping the world as the Greeks knew it. Who was the strongest Greek god? If strength means raw power, Zeus is the undisputed champion. As ruler of Olympus, his commands over thunder, the skies, and divine law made him the most formidable. But in terms of brute force, Ares, the god of war, might contest the title, though his recklessness often led to his downfall. Poseidon's control over the seas gave him unmatched influence over maritime civilizations, while Hades ruled over the dead with an iron grip. Even Hera, often overlooked, wielded immense power through cunning and divine influence. Ultimately, strength in Greek mythology was not just about force, it was about control, influence, and cunning. What is the Underworld in Greek mythology? The Greek underworld was the final destination of the dead, a vast and shadowy realm ruled by Hades. It was not simply a place of torment, but an entire afterlife system. The souls of the wicked were cast into Tartarus, a nightmarish abyss of suffering. The ordinary dead wandered the asphodel meadows, a realm of quiet nothingness. But for heroes and the righteous, there was Elysium, a paradise of eternal bliss. The underworld was guarded by Cerberus, the three-headed hound, and divided by 5 rulers, each representing different aspects of death. Unlike later religious afterlives, the Greek underworld was not about mortality, it was about fate. What's the deal with Greek demigods? Demigods, the offspring of gods and mortals, were central to Greek mythology. They inherited divine gifts but were still bound by human mortality. Some, like Heracles, possessed superhuman strength, while others, like Perseus, had divine favor and heroic destiny. Many demigods were tragic figures, caught between two worlds, struggling to prove themselves. Their myths often centered on epic quests, battling monsters and achieving greatness through suffering. Unlike the gods, they could die, making them relatable to human struggles while still embodying the extraordinary. This episode of Saga, History and Mythology is brought to you by The Stars at Night, a documentary exploring the connection between astronomy, mythology, and original storytelling. It asks the question, what is the cost of light pollution, not only on our environment, but on our culture as well? Available now. Are Greek myths connected to real history? Though filled with supernatural events, Greek myths often had roots in real history. The city of Troy, once thought to be a myth, was discovered in the 19th century, suggesting that the Trojan War might have been based on actual events. The Minotaur legend may have originated from the Minoan civilization's labyrinth-like palace at Knossos. Even Heracles' labors could reflect older myths of real-life warriors. While gods themselves remain legends, their stories likely evolved from historical memories, blending fact with fiction over generations. Why do Greek gods act like humans? Unlike the deities of some religions, Greek gods were deeply flawed. They experienced jealousy, rage, love, and even pettiness. Zeus was notorious for his infidelity, Hera for her vengeance, and Ares for his bloodlust. This human-like nature made them more relatable to the ancient Greeks. Their actions served as moral lessons. Excessive pride or hubris was punished, while cunning and perseverance were often rewarded. By mirroring humanity, the gods reflected both the virtues and vices of Greek society, making their myths eternally relevant. How did Greek mythology influence modern culture? Greek mythology is woven into the fabric of modern culture. The names of the planets, like Jupiter and Saturn, come from Roman adaptations of Greek gods. Literature, from Shakespeare to modern fantasy, like the Song of Achilles, is filled with mythological references. Films like Clash of the Titans and Percy Jackson reimagine the myths for new audiences. Even our language bears traces. Words like Titanic, narcissistic, and Herculean all stem from Greek myths. More than mere stories, Greek mythology continues to shape how we see the world, proving that even gods, long forgotten in temples, still walk among us in our imagination. What are your top questions about the Greek gods? What questions do you have about other cultures' myths? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this, be sure to like, subscribe, and check out our other videos on ancient legends and myths. Until next time.